This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsterette.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsterette.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsterette.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsterette.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsterette.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
Do mash times really matter? Using teas instead of air distributors and adding minerals to my brewing water. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 374. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, watching right now or listening, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. You could click on that submit a question link at the top of the page, or even better, you could call it in. You could leave a voicemail at 325-305-6107. And when I use your voicemail on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com right over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President, Chief Keg Washer, and floating head of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Good. Except it's kind of hot and stuffy in here, but yeah.
I don't like. What is this shtick we're doing here? Are you Wizard of Oz?
Well, I know you've been having some trouble with the shirts, designing the shirts for the Trub Club Kolsch Cup for 2024. So, I've been complaining a lot about there being too much plastic on the shirt, which I don't like.
Yeah.
And I've finally given in, and I've designed a shirt for you. So
you are ridiculous.
This is the new. I just took it was cheap. We're going to save some money this year. I just took a garbage bag, cut a hole in it, and now it has the same amount of plastic as the shirts that you designed.
Oh my God! First off, two things. One, you pull that off, it looks good. You're like Kanye West right now of fashion.
Hey,
look at you, brother. But also V-neck. That's an interesting choice. You've made fun of me.
Yeah. I thought
you look like Barney Rubble. what you look.
V-necks are coming back, my friend. V-necks are coming back.
You have the build of Barney Rubble. Look at that. This alone is where he is. Audio only listeners. He's wearing a trash bag, and he put. Oh, you got to use your labeler. He actually put Homebrew Happy Hour Kolsch Cup 2024. There you go. You're insufferable, dude. You are absolutely insufferable. I can't stand you. I can't.
That's nice, isn't it?
You're right.
You're just jealous that I'm a better designer than you are.
Oh man, this show.
So Josh and I have had a long running disagreement on shirts, as some of you probably know. He first of all, he likes shirts that aren't cotton because they're clammy and hot. And then he likes to add a whole bunch of plastic to them so they become even more clammier and hotter. So I'm just giving up. I'm just going to wear a trash bag. I'm not admitting this is I'm not admitting this is a reason why, but years ago when it legitimately bothers you. You made the mistake of letting me know. It legitimately bothers you. Well, and I think, you said it best the other day when we were talking about it, and I said the most important thing about a shirt is comfort, and these aren't going to be comfortable. And you said
they are comfortable.
Screw the Trump Club listeners. It's all about advertising and putting lots of plastic on there.
That is what I said. Verbatim. I said, screw them. Put the plastic on. I actually let me segue us into showing the shirts on the screen. So the compromise, I'm going to add more bubbles to, is a 2-sided print. Todd loves the front side because it's this little Kolsch Cup 2024 in the corner.
Yeah, I like that.
And the back. I'm talking to them, Todd, about it also being sublimated. That way, the plastic is not over.
No, I've bought shirts that are like that before, where it's not solid plastic.
Yes, just sublimated. Yeah. So that's but right now, if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, you'll see the shirt design, the front and the back. That's what
the back has not been approved by me. I just want to mention that.
This was the compromise. You in the text, I'll show it on screen. You were like, do whatever you're going to do anyways.
Yeah, it's not a compromise. It's just you saying, screw Todd, screw the listeners. I'm doing what I want to do.
But the listeners have told me too. They're like, I love that design that you've done in regards to the 2-sided design, not the huge plastic on the front. Yes, I've heard enough feedback. I know that's not just favorite. I've got it. Anyways, though, it is Kolsch Cup 2024 is coming up. April 11th through April 13th. It is sort of too late to sign up. If you're listening to this now and you can get a Kolsch in time, we have spots. We had people drop out. So we do have spots of our final 40 remaining. You can go to KolschCup.com. I reopened registration. I'm not holding my breath. It's fine. With what we have right now signed up is great. We have a good collection of brewers that have signed up. We're going to have 2 full days of round 1 judging still, and then a 3rd day, which is the 13th for our final. Also, Wes told me he's down for it, guys. He said he's available again.
Oh, did he really? That's awesome.
Yep. He messaged me back and said, yeah, that should work out great. I'll be in town. So we're going to have a good crew judging, and you can watch all the fun. Right now, the plan, as always, is usually to live stream, but I don't know how your internet is right now, boss, at the barn, because Starlink is reliable. I don't know. The upload.
I haven't had any issues. I don't even know. I can't think of the last time I had a signal drop.
And what's your uploads on average? Because at the ranch, it varied that day, but I think it was a hardware issue. I don't think it was the actual connection, right, Todd? Wasn't it? I mean, I believe you resolved the communication issue between barn and house.
I did.
Yeah. And I haven't tested it since you resolved it. So
I'm gonna have to change shirts. I don't know how you can wear these. I really don't.
Go change your shirt. I'm going to.
And they're kind of loud too.
This is.
I have to say that this is not the first time I've worn this. This is what we used to wear in wrestling to drop weight.
Yeah. Oh, y'all just did. All sauna suits are basically trash bags. I know you probably literally wore trash bags back then.
No, I just wore trash bags. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. What did you? All right,
that's how I learned how to do all this.
Go change your shirt. I'll put it back on the screen. The fun, whether it's live streamed or immediately published, is still going to be at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour on April 11th through the 13th. We're working out the times because those are work days, or 2 of them are. So we're going to figure out probably afternoon, evening stream times, and then on Saturday probably be midday stream time. But either way, thank you to our sponsors, Imperial Yeast, Munton's Malt, hopsdirect.com, and careconnection.com for supporting and sponsoring this year's Kolsch Cup 2024. While Todd's changing, I'll keep on with the small talk. If you're a member of Homebrew Happy Hour's Trub Club at patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, then you know this month you're getting a delicious West Coast Pale Ale. It is the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone, as you can tell from my carefully crafted artwork for it. It's a delicious recipe, and again, it's available at patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Join a recipe receiving tier. Come brew with us. We get this, or you will get this shipped to you the last week of the month. I'm going to be up there all next week, getting stuff prepared, ingredients and whatever, while Todd is in. Remind me, it's Vegas for the bar,
Las Vegas for the
bar
and restaurant association.
That's right. Yeah, that's a huge show too, isn't it?
It is a big show. Yeah, it's not as big as the one we're going to the next month in Chicago. Is the NRA, which was kind of funny because my buddy Mark was like, "No, the NRA conference is in Dallas this year," and I was like, "No, not the National Rifle Association, the National Restaurant Association." It cracks me up that they use the exact same NRA on all their stuff.
You would think one of them would try to copyright or trademark infringe the other. It's like when I was growing up, WWF, right? They had to change their name, World Wrestling Federation, to WWE because the World Wildlife Fund sued them or something. So you would think the NRA, one of them would have an issue being associated with the other. Or maybe there's just guns in the kitchen, or maybe there's chefs on the range. There's a lesson to be learned there.
Chefs on the Range. That's nice.
Chefs on the Range. That's my new country band, Chefs on the Range. But anyways, so yes, patreon.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Get the delicious West Coast Pale Ale. Again, it's a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone. If you're listening to the show and you're above the age of, I'm trying to think, I would say that this was most people in their late 40s and above, their first introduction to craft beer, if I had to guess, right? Like a lot of people call this one of the original craft beers that was distributed nationwide. Now, obviously, that's totally dependent on where you're at.
Well, not mine. Mine was
Shinerbach.
Mine was probably like a Mexican beer, like Dos Equis Amber or Negra Modelo or.
But you would call that craft?
Bohemia.
Bohemia's, you would call that craft? They weren't a macro brewery by the time you were trying it?
Well, I think most of the breweries that made those cream ales were macro breweries too.
Well, yeah, it was Sierra Nevada. Well, I don't know how many barrels Sierra Nevada does, but I do know the BA kind of adjust what is considered craft based on Boston beer to keep them in the fold of this made up label anyway. Like, we made.
No, but I don't think, a lot of those were brands. Those cream ales were brands.
What are you talking about? Cream ale? Bohemia's a cream ale?
No, I thought you were talking about cream ale.
No,
you said this is style.
No, pale ale. I said Sierra Nevada's pale ale was a ton of people.
Oh, I missed that. I thought you were talking about cream ale.
You were changing out of the trash bag. No, Sierra Nevada's pale ale was a ton of people's introduction to craft beer in this country. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you.
Especially middle-aged, older, not as in old guys, not as old, because middle age is relative. My family history, I'm middle-aged. But I'm just saying, I think that was a lot of people's introduction to craft beer. And obviously that depends on region, because for me, Fireman's 4 or Shinerbach was my first. But Sierra Nevada was available at the liquor store for as long as I can remember.
But keep in mind, Shinerbach's been available forever.
No, right. But it is literally a craft
regional,
beer.
Very regional.
It's hyper regional. Yeah.
Well, not now, but
it was.
For sure.
Yes, right. But we've been, Texas has had good craft beer since I've been of age to drink. So I've been very fortunate. And I'm very fortunate. One of my favorite craft breweries of all time, Real Ale, is a 40-minute drive if there's traffic from my house. I should stop there more often when I'm coming up to the ranch. But
so Special Brewery first brewed Shinerbach in 1913.
That was a little bit before my time. Yeah,
that was before World War One. You can barely even remember World War One, right?
I barely. Yeah, it's a distant memory. No, actually, this is a good plug for what's the name of that book? A World Undone.
Oh gosh, what a good book!
What a good book.
We should do a book podcast.
We should do a book, but it'll just be A World Undone because that'll take us a year to go over. If you listen to the audiobook, it's like 40 hours or 50 something hours, isn't it? It was a long book, but totally worth it. It was totally worth it. Anyways, I'm trying to think of, I already got the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale Kolsch Cup. Oh, Brew Day Live is coming up. If you're listening to this the day we publish it, it's tomorrow, Friday, March 15th at 10 a.m. Central. My pop and I are brewing the monthly recipe kit, the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. We will be brewing that. We'll be hoping that, because I didn't bring up the G40 for James to look at, we'll hope that it doesn't give us issues on Friday.
Is that the kit that we have, 10-gallon kit already made up?
Yes. It is.
Wow.
Yep. You got brew. Y'all should brew it on Friday too.
We could brew it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I've been telling you about this Brew Day Live for 3 weeks now.
we have 30 gallons of it. Oh God, that sounds good.
I was going to say, you're not complaining about 30 gallons of a smooth pale ale. That sounds ideal. But yeah, my pop and I on Friday, March 15th, and hopefully Todd and James tomorrow, if you're listening to this the day we publish it or whenever, Friday the 15th, it is available at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. That is live stream because I have decent internet most of the time. So we'll be doing that. We'll be brewing and hanging out. It's not the entire brew day, Todd, so you don't have to worry about like being on the stream the whole time. My pop and I will usually mash in 30 minutes before I hit the live anyway. So he'll probably. What
time does it start?
10 a.m. Central is when it'll go live, and I can. I'll
be done. I'll be done by then.
You're such a liar. You'll be cooling down by then.
Yeah, cooling down. That's what I mean. I'll be done with.
That's fine. You can just join for the talk. I had Trong on. That episode publishes next week. Very interesting guy. He wants to send us. He's calling it the Potta Brew, and he wants to do. I'll tell y'all after. People watching, you're in for a treat. I had a great time with Trong, and that publishes next week. He's not only an interesting dude, he's a very innovative dude and passionate about his product. So I'm looking forward to publishing that episode. But he wants to do a Brew Day Live with us as well, but using this new conceptual all-in-one that he's like, it's a true all-in-one because you can brew, you can serve, you ferment and serve. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I also got a unit from Pinter.com. They're an English brand that is like a Mr. Beer Kit on steroids, and so they want me to do some content on that, and they want to be on a future episode. So a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipeline. Yeah. I believe that's all the small talk I've got. We do have a jam-packed episode of 3 questions, but before I even get to the questions,
it's time for listener feedback.
I took all the voicemails this week, the 3 voicemails we have. Believe it or not, it's all friends of the show. The feedback is our buddy Walter. Remember Walter, James? We hung out with him at HomebrewCon. Super nice guy. He called in. He's never called in. Long-time listener, first-time caller. And he called in.
Didn't he have the T-shirt, the Homebrew Happy Hour T-shirt with the big plastic, the one that
I
Todd
believe
hated?
so, and I bet he loves it. That's why he wore it, Todd. He wore it proudly and was just like, this shirt's the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. But our buddy Walter from
I bet he just wore it for you and he's miserable the whole time.
That describes any given Friday night with my wife. Anyway, Walter from Massachusetts, he called in, left some voicemail about additional considerations for stovetop small batch brewers who are scaling up.
Hey guys, this is Walter from Massachusetts. Just want to say great show. And I had a couple comments on the scale up considerations. Something that you didn't mention is that 3 gallons is probably the most that you can do on a normal stovetop. You go over that to 5 gallons and you're looking at getting a specialty pot for that. And when you get that specialty pot, you're also going to need a propane burner or some kind of separate electric element heater. And also considerations that 5 gallons on a normal 120 volt circuit is kind of takes a long time to do the heat up transition. So you may need to transition to a 240 volt circuit, which may or may not be readily available. Other things to think of is how you're going to manage the weight of the wet mash. 5 gallons is about all that I think you really should manage pulling the mash out of the pot without some kind of mechanical assistance, some kind of pulley or something that you need overhead. Last thing to consider is that most kits are in 5-gallon formats. So if you're brewing something other than 5 gallons, like you will not have the type of kit that you may not have the selection of kits that you're looking for, or you have to cut it in half and do a 2.5-gallon batch. So that's all my thoughts. Thanks, and look forward to your next show. Bye.
Thank you, Walter, for the helpful information. Yeah, there is cooking on the stovetop. Like I said, the interview with Tronk.
So I didn't really understand what was it about.
So when we were giving tips for a guy who was going to scale up, and like, oh, what is some of the equipment they might need? What are some of the considerations?
So a scale up, you mean
scaling up going from 1 to potentially
5.
3 or 5. Yeah.
But what? But it sounded like he was talking about scaling above 5.
Well, I think well, you say that. I mean, I think he's saying that above 3 on a stovetop becomes a little bit more difficult. Even if you use like our stainless steel kettle that we've been selling for a while, the 7.5-gallon one. You think you would comfortably do a stovetop kit on that one and do a 5-gallon batch?
So you're talking about all grain, or are we talking about just a standard?
So the guy who wrote in that question, I'd have to look at the notes, but I'm very confident it was, I extract now, and I'm considering going to all grain and then in bigger batches. So what should I?
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to go from extract smaller to extract 5 gallon. I mean, 5 gallons easy on the stove if you're doing extract, but it would definitely be a lot more. It would be more difficult to do.
More right, not impossible, but more
difficult. I always use gas stoves, not electric too, so that's a little different too, I think.
Must be nice. That's the only thing I don't like about this house. That my wife found the perfect house when we moved in a few years ago, and it's all electric. Our last house was gas. I miss cooking on gas. Well, I say that I cook on gas now, just outside on.
I miss gas heat.
Yeah. Oh, How much more affordable was it in the winter? Now my heat
and
pump,
it's warmer.
Yeah. Heat pumps right now, I've learned, are not good. They're not efficient or effective. I don't know which, or both.
Heat pumps are pretty good, but the what happens sometimes is you've got coils in there that for backup, and that's what really starts running your bill up.
Well, and ERCOT's failures a few years ago have caught up to all of us. My rates, I was humbly boasting at one point when y'all were telling me y'all's bills, like, well, mine's this. Ooh, my last month bill, James, on electric was, I don't want to talk about it. It hurt.
Yeah, I mean, as high as it's ever been.
It's the winter.
When I moved here, it was 9.5 cents a kilowatt. Now it's hour, and now it's I think it's 13 or 13.5.
Oh,
I figured I did mine last month at 17 cents a kilowatt hour.
James,
with the added additional.
They're still screwing y'all more. Yeah. Ours is like 11 or 11 and some change, and I was
used
pissed.
To be under 12 cents forever.
Oh my God, dude, they are absolutely. I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Like you said, last month, it's March now. February it was a cold month, and you think, oh, my bills are going to be great, and then, like you just said, your bill was the highest it's ever been. What is the summer going to look like? Oh,
I know.
Anyways, so that leads me to say, go to catconnection.com, use promo code HHH, buy stuff so we can afford our electric bills, friend. That's what we need from today's show. One thing I forgot to mention, Todd, because we didn't really come up. Y'all received Pinlock kegs today. And in the Pinlock kegs, we're going to have a big promotion kicking off this weekend. We're going to have a huge sale price and all that. So they'll be able to get that at catconnection.com. Basically, the moment you're listening to this show, you can go. I don't have anything on the screen right now. My morning was busy on the phone and schmoozing and stuff. But catconnection.com, go get yourself a deal on Pinlock kegs. Are we going to do them converted at all? Or are we saving these just for straight up Pinlock?
No, we're definitely converting them.
Okay, awesome, cool. So people who have ball lock.
I'm trying to get. I've got to go through it and get more parts. To do even more, but I know we can do at least 100 right now.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay.
Because we got in 2,000 of them.
Oh, nice. So, that was y'all's whole morning too, wasn't it, James?
Oh yeah, we worked so hard, and you weren't here.
Yeah. So, were you wearing the trash bag while you were unloading?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, Walter, thank you so much for submitting that feedback. A reminder, guys, while I really would prefer questions, but when you leave good feedback to 325-305-6107 and I use it on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card to techconnection.com. Or like I said, same hotline, leave a question and get yourself a $25 gift card like our first question of the show. It's a voicemail. It's our buddy Joe Whiting.
Hi, guys. Joe Whiting here. Hey, I've got a question about mash times. I've always been told that a 60-minute mash is required for total conversion. That's what I always do, and I always use the iodine test to make sure. I keep seeing videos where people are doing 30-minute mashes and in some cases even 15-minute mashes, but they never say if conversion is complete. So I don't know if in some cases conversion is complete or if they're just trying to shorten the brew day. My question is, if conversion is complete at 30 minutes, are there any benefits or drawbacks to continue to mash to the full 60 minutes? By the way, the Bob's Cream Ale is getting rave reviews, and I'm looking forward to the Kolsch. Muchas gracias, mis amigos. Tu compañero cervecero, Jose.
I love it. It's the bilingual episode. No, I was going to say after I took Walter saying all the voicemail is all friends of the show. Every single one I took this week are people we've hung out with or people in the Chub Club or people who've been a guest on the show. It was a total coincidence, but I was like, hey, that's kind of neat. Joe, it's a great question. James, I'm going to throw it to you first, but let me put my opinion in. I suspect conversion's not completed and they're just doing a shorter brew day, but I don't know because I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, I mean, I would refer, of course, all of us, all extra. We don't extract, we do all grain brewing. And so, you wouldn't need to mash if you're doing that. But I don't know why I said that.
No, you're good.
I refer to my Brewer's Friend software because it'll tell you where you need to be on gravity, and if you're there in 30 minutes and you're now. You've got to dial your efficiency. Your efficiency number should be correct. But if you can do it in 30 minutes, why not? Save a half an hour. But I always just do an hour. I'll let it run an hour and then see where I'm at. Or there's times that I've actually run it longer, but I check all the time, but I don't think I've ever hit where I needed to be in a half an hour.
Well, and that's
Todd?
That's what I was going to ask is have you done y'all check sorry to interrupt you, Todd, that's a great question to throw to you because you do refractometer testing. And when you had an Easy Dens, I mean, you do tests throughout the entire mash.
I do too.
What is the earliest y'all have been like, oh, I'm at the gravity I want to be at right now? What would you say that's ever been?
I always do either 60 or 90.
Yeah, me too.
Because of conversion or because of tradition?
Just tradition. I mean,
yeah.
It's
the way I do it. I don't like change.
Yeah, change is bad.
Oh yeah, bad.
We resist change.
Yeah. I like that. The homebrew stay the same. Happy hour.
But what the test that we don't do that he's talking about is an iodine test. I don't ever do an iodine test.
I've never.
I don't either. It just shows if there's still any starches left in there that hasn't been converted into sugars. Okay. And you what you do is put a little drop of iodine in a little bit of wort, and you look at the color change, and it'll tell you whether you still have starch in there or not.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I mean, I probably should try it sometime, but
and our friends at Brewlosophy have the short and shoddy series, right? And they do their beer experiments where spoiler, most of the time it's like you couldn't tell the difference in regards to 30-minute mash or a 60-minute mash or whatever test they're doing. But that's not to say that is not, you can't, just because I can't tell the difference is not synonymous with conversion is complete, right? That's just a perceptual thing. That's not necessarily an objective thing. To answer Joe's question, we would have to do because for me, it's just speculation. Like, how could conversion be done in 30 minutes? I guess maybe it depends on the style, depends on the grains, depends on if it's modified grains, right? Or I mean, unmodified, there's a different name for them too. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of factors, right, that would go into conversion being complete. And I suspect today's modern grains all modified enough that it's more likely it's closer to conversion as opposed to not GMO grain, and GMO is the right word, right? From the modified, like these grains we're brewing with now are all GMO, right? They're genetically modified to be
modified. Yeah. I would suspect just about everything in the United States is GMO now.
Yeah. I don't know that they're GMO, Josh, or if they've just improved them.
Well, yeah, not to argue semantics. GMO is not, I don't ever take it as the derogatory slur it's used as. I think, using genetics to improve corn or something like that isn't necessarily inherently a bad thing. But I'm ready for hate mail and 1-star reviews and be like, they love GMOs and probably microplastics too, and or whatever. I'm trying to think of all the buzzwords. Yeah, climate.
I don't know. I mean, GMO is modified, but I think that you can modify it like scientifically, or you just modify it through what's the term, like hybridizing it.
Like Gregor Mendel, like the original, like the pea plant stuff. But I would argue that's GMO too. I mean that is
okay. If it is, then I would say they're all. I mean, they're all modified, but they're not. I don't know that very many. What is the term I'm looking for? What is the term when you that everybody gets so upset about with?
I think it is GMO.
Is it?
Just to interrupt you guys, I'm on Munton's website, and the first base malt that I pulled up is Planet Malt, and it is GMO free.
Hey.
Okay.
And again, though, I asked him. Kenneth listens to it. Kenneth, email me. Tell us how. Not only why you're GMO free, as in that's probably a good thing, but also how do you maintain GMO? I just don't understand, the science anymore, or maybe I never did. I always understood GMO to mean
bioengineered is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I just found it. Bioengineered is what I'm talking about.
Okay, but either way, I guess I'm making a.
Oh no! It says GMO are organisms that are where their genetic material is altered in a way that does not occur naturally.
You're right. See, that's my understanding of it. That's why I've always thought a lot of things that we consume are GMO, but not necessarily like added chemicals. It was just modified. You're
evil.
After the podcast, I'm going to take a 6-pack, the plastic rings that come off and go throw it in the river right after we're done recording. I'm going to find a little turtle and just play ring toss with the turtle. I'm kidding, Mom. And Dragonfly Lady 1, who I suspect might be my mom, who left that 1-star review. The feedback I get from my mom, actually, most of the feedback I get from my mom is, you're going to get fired, son. Your Todd's going to fire you one of these days.
And she's not wrong necessarily.
The moment you realize AI can replace a lot of what I do, I'm screwed. Oh boy. Oh boy. Anyways, I think this is a great question where, even though I always say we need more question feedback, I would love to hear from the audience about conversion and something objective more than just a hunch, which is what I'm doing, where I would say, I don't think 15 is. And if 30 is fully converted, but if it is, man, could we do it 20 and it be reasonably converted? Shortening a brew day is very appealing to someone like me who, even though the last few brew day lives, I have the setup in the garage, and so I have the computer hooked up and all that, so it's not a issue of productivity. But brew days can take up a good chunk of your day to where it's just like, anything to streamline it or shorten it is welcomed on my end. So what do you think? If you're watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour, leave it in the comments below. Let me know if it's good enough and I read it on a future episode. You still get yourself a $15 gift card that way. Or if you call it in to 325-305-6107, get yourself a $25 gift card if I play it on a future episode. So thank you, Joe, for submitting that. Oh, did you have something else? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did want to say, I guess I need to put my glasses back on because it's not Planet Malt, it's Plant Malt is what it says. So.
Andale. Okay. There was missing the E and the T. Did you look up Planet? Does that say it's GMO? It's like
I'm looking at it right now, but it doesn't say.
It's a picture of It's a picture of an evil-looking scientist with a cat in his arm. He's like, "Our grains are GMO." I really don't look. I'm not a full I love Todd's dad's view of chemicals are our friends, and I'm like, yeah, chemicals are our friends. I love chemicals, but GMO doesn't imply chemicals.
So my dad's a chemical engineer, as a lot of you know from listening before, but one of the things he loves to do when I'm like, hey, I'm using this insecticide, and I saw this word that looks German because it has 47 letters in it. Is that is that okay? And he just always smiles, this smile like this, and he goes, "Chemicals are good."
I love it. I love that. And I love the one time he told me I was complaining about my neck, and he asked me how old I am, and I was, 36 or whatever at the time. My neck still hurts, but I'm like 36. He goes, "Oh, well, it gets better in your 80s." But like with that sarcastic tone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I was like, "Joke's on you, Pierce. I'm not living to 80s." But anyway, yeah, again, this is a great topic to start to show off and get a lot of feedback, preferably at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, because again, I would love to have the comments there because it helps the algorithm. While you're there, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Thank you, Joe, for submitting that question. Again, when you leave a voicemail, you get yourself a $25 gift card. If you leave a comment at YouTube, if you email Joshua at Homebrew Happy Hour, or if you text that same hotline, 325-305-6107, and I read it on a future episode, you still get yourself a $15 gift card, which I think is pretty good. Like our second question of the show, it's our buddy Bruce. He wrote, "Hello, Josh and gang. I'm in the planning stage of my first teaser. Like most of us, I'm frugal and want to save money where I can. My teaser will only be 2 taps at first. Can I use a T off my regulator gas tube to direct the gas to both kegs in lieu of a manifold distributor? Teas are very cheap. What would be reasons I might need a manifold distributor if I know that both kegs will always be dispensed at the exact same pressure? Looking forward to your opinions. Great work every week on the podcast." Oh yeah, this is Bruce, in his last name, from Mississippi, by the way. Bruce from Mississippi, thank you so much for submitting the question. Todd, James is working, so I'm gonna throw this to you real quick. We actually we did an install with the coffee thing, and it used the T, and it's the first install I've seen of ours that used the T. And the reason it was is because it's just separating a gas stain between 2 areas. It wasn't 2 kegs for this coffee thing. It was 1 keg right now. But do T's have inherent dangers to them to where that's why our kits have never had that option? If you have a 2 faucet kit, you can either get your regulator with the Y, or you can get a single line to a 2-way manifold. Is there a reason we've never offered T's in our keg kits? Or what are your thoughts?
So there's nothing wrong with using a T whatsoever, as long as your regulator has a check valve on it. So when we sell a single regulator, or even a dual body regulator, but I mean a regulator that's not connected, doesn't have a Y on it, or doesn't have an air distributor on it in a kit, it always comes with a check valve. So as long as you have a check valve, a T is absolutely fine. I mean, it's the disadvantage of it is you can never cut off the other gas line. So, I would never personally build a system like that, because I want to be able to cut off the other gas line.
Yeah.
But that's really the only disadvantage to it.
You're right. So where I was going to go with this was different, and I'll still go there. But you're right. That is a huge, because there are times. So yeah, that would stink, because sometimes, especially if you're troubleshooting or whatever, you do, want to cut off one of the lines or whatever. I was going to go with it because he was talking about how both will always be the same pressure. Well, even if they weren't, you could put a gov reg on one of those lines and then take it only lower, obviously. But
I think he was asking, and you'll have to look at it. I thought he was saying that he was worried maybe they wouldn't be, is what I got.
No, well, when I'm reading the text as I copied and pasted it from Google Voice, he's saying, I know for sure both kegs will always be dispensed at the exact same pressure.
But, I mean, that has no bearing on it whatsoever, because that's the same. That would be true with an air distributor.
No, totally. And I'm saying, you're absolutely right. And I'm saying, even with the manifold or the T's, if you ever needed the other side to be a different pressure, a lower pressure.
You just had a gov reg.
You just had a gov reg, because that's basically in line. It's on the disconnect. Like there's nothing to mount or whatever. You could get the starter kit and adjust it yourself, or if he orders it through us, he can tell you what he wants it at, and you ship it out pre-adjusted.
Yeah, But to answer the question though, there is nothing wrong with using a T other than you can't shut off the gas lines individually.
But that is a pretty big con to me, not being able to shut off.
Yeah, we don't sell them that way because it wouldn't change the price that much. And I think for most people, they want to be able to cut off the lines individually.
Yeah. So would you say, he's doing a DIY, right? He's not buying a pre-made kit. Doing even a DIY, it is worth it from the beginning to have a proper manifold for your various lines.
If it's worth it to him.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking about for Mr. Todd Burns.
Todd Burns, I'm going to put a manifold on there, but that doesn't mean that it's right for him. I mean, it's a personal preference.
No, I don't like that. I like objectivity. Like, yes, this is the only way to do it. Why? Because we're the experts. That's what this show's about.
No, we're the experts, and I can assure you can do it either way.
That was good. I like Trash Bad Todd better than I like this Todd. Go back to Trash Bad Todd. I can't think of anything else but on the teaser build for the gas side. But like you said, the crucial thing, Bruce, is obviously the check valve at your regulator. Because Todd, I'll just let you answer. What are the dangers? Why do you not want a gas side without a check valve?
Because if you get a difference in pressure, let's say you run out of CO2 or there's a lot of different scenarios where you can get a difference in pressure. You can get backflow into the regulator and flood your regulator with beer, and that's not going to end well.
That's not going to end well. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, make sure you have a check valve.
And also you get beer in there and it doesn't come out and it's in your line, and then eventually it does come out and it's going to get nasty.
Don't get nasty.
You don't want a nasty.
I don't like the way you say nasty. Oh, that beer just all nasty.
Nasty in your beer.
Anyways, we're moving along. Bruce, thank you so much for submitting the question. A reminder, when you leave a YouTube comment or you submit an email or you text 325-305-6107 and I use it on a future episode, you get yourself a $15 gift card. Or even better, have I mentioned, if you call that hotline 325-305-6107, leave a voicemail question and I use it on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card. Like our third and final question, it's our buddy Blind Brew Guy. It's Fred from Arizona.
Hey Joshua, Todd, and James. This is your friend Fred in Phoenix. I'll forgo the sucking up and just get to my question, but I would like to say I agree with Todd that less plastic on the shirt is better when it comes to the Kolsch Cup t-shirt. Anyway, I'm getting ready to brew my Kolsch for the Kolsch Cup, and I had a question about what minerals you guys add to your water when you brew your Kolsch. I use RO water like I know you guys do, and I typically add a teaspoon of gypsum, a teaspoon of calcium chloride. That's about 3 grams and 5 grams, respectively. But I don't get into water chemistry too much. I don't do parts per million or use a spreadsheet or anything like that. So I was just curious as to what you guys do. And not just for your Kolsch, what do you do for your alt and maybe your pills recipes too. So anyway, I'm getting ready to start brewing. So I appreciate your input on this, and we will be, talking to you guys. Cheers.
Thank you, Fred. Again, James, I know you were gone. I don't know if you had your earbud in or not.
There's nobody here to answer the phone. And the same customer kept calling over and over again.
No, I appreciate you actually working. Whenever we're actually not just when we're recording, most of the day, I'm just like, yeah, blow it off. But it's our buddy Blind Brew Guy, which, by the way, best account for beer brewing on Instagram. I'm saying it right now. Go follow him on Instagram, Blind Brew Guy, our buddy Fred. He called and asked about our water profile for Kolsch and then the alt beer, and then the pills. Spoiler, Fred, I brew RO2. I don't do water chemistry at all.
Me either.
Yeah, the only
Todd does a little.
Yeah, and before I throw it to you, Todd, the only time I introduce chemicals to my RO water is the Topo Chico pack that is now available at kegconnection.com. That is the only time, and that we have that actually at homebrewhappyhour.com. If you don't want to buy the kit from us, you can make it yourself. We have the whole layout there. But what I was going to say relating that to the beer is a lot of people who do Kolsch will get the water profile from whatever the water supply is to the city of Cologne, and they will try, or whatever style they're brewing. The idea, I think, behind water profiles is to mimic the water source of the region of the beer you're brewing. I think that's the idea. But Todd, when you do it, I believe you are like Fred, where you're just doing a generalized little bit of this, a little bit of that, just to build up some minerals, or do you follow strict things per style?
No, I look up the water profile where it's brewed, and I use that water profile. Most of the recipes, like if I'm creating one for Homebrew Happy Hour now and it's on Brewer's Friend, it'll have the water profile that I used in there.
No kidding. Even so, okay, I got to do a check, because when you put them up on your personal Brewer's Friend, and then I copy that, I duplicate it, because Brewer's Friend lets you do that. I got to make sure it's duplicating even the water profile, because
so I just looked up the one for the mine German Pilsner, the one I just brewed, and the water profile's on there.
Okay, we'll talk about it then. Since
it's just calcium chloride and gypsum, but that's
okay.
That one's not exactly right, because somebody took all of my chemicals home with them. And I didn't have all the chemicals I needed, so I had to work on it a little bit to get it right, because somebody took all my chemicals from my house, and I didn't have the chemicals.
In my defense, it was an accident, okay? I thought I left them at the office because we had to delay the launch of our Topo Chico kit by 10 days because of my stupid face. I took I was like, oh yeah, we're ready to launch it, this or that. And Todd was like, you have all the chemicals, you idiot. Well, what are you talking about? No, I don't. I left them. Oh, and I went out to my car. Yep. In the back seat on the floor. Big old box of
that's what I'm doing now. I try to find it, get a water profile. It's really not that hard, because I already have so many of those chemicals that I'm able to just
and minerals
look
is the
it
better
up right
word.
there. I say chemicals. It's not chemicals. It's minerals.
Yeah.
Are minerals chemicals? I asked my dad that.
Not to argue semantics. Of course they are.
minerals.
Everything's chemical. Everything. I'm going to write a children's song. Everything is chemical. That'll be how I make my millions, is doing a kids show about how GMOs are good, kids. But anyway.
A mineral is a naturally occurring chemical compound.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That's what I was saying. They're chemicals. Yeah. I'll argue to the death.
So my chemicals that I use.
But look up your Kolsch.
I don't know that I have it on the Kolsch, because that was before I started doing it.
Oh, it is relatively, I mean, within the last 12 months that you started adding minerals.
Yeah. I would say probably the last 5 or 6 batches of beer I brewed, I've done a profile, a mineral profile.
That doesn't help, because sometimes you brew 5 or 6 batches in 9 weeks. I was trying to do a time frame of when you started. I feel like it's almost a year. That you decided to do that. But James, is there a reason? So I'll tell you the reason my pop and I just use.
I already know.
What's the reason, Todd?
You're lazy.
You took it from me. You took that from me. Darn it. I was gonna do some pretentious, like, our palate doesn't even notice the difference. It's not worth the time. No, I'm just lazy to do it. I could look up, I guess, Sierra Nevada, where their water source is. And because I have some of the chemicals here for Topo Chico individually. I have calcium chloride, I have gypsum, I have magnesium chloride. My dad and I could probably do it on this one. I have a scale, a super accurate drud scale, or whatever, ammo scale, not drud scale, ammo scale, that I could measure it on. Todd, when you're looking,
it's funny, because what's the one? Epsom salt is the one that you soak your feet in and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I could get when you took my chemicals and stole them from me and took them to your house. I was like, Epsom salt would do what I need to do. Oh, I know my wife's got Epsom salt, so I went over and got her Epsom salt. I came back, I was just about to pour it in, and I noticed that it Epsom salt with eucalyptus.
Oh, that would have been
And I was
terrible.
like, I'm so glad I didn't use
Oh, that would have been a
So
terrible
if you're
Pilsner.
using Epsom salt, be sure it doesn't have an additive to make your feet smell better.
Oh, you don't want a lavender pills or eucalyptus pills?
You know, it may have been the best beer ever.
I can't.
No, that would have been a
Eucalyptus
fault.
pills.
It
That
would have been
drove us
terrible.
all nuts.
Now, James, why don't you? Because you're not lazy, and I'm not just sucking up to you. You're not. You're not lazy. Like
Well, I am when it comes to doing water profiles. I just rather brew.
I got you. And have you? So I guess I can't say I've never noticed a difference because I've never done a water profile. I need, like I say a million times about other experiments, I need to brew a Kolsch and try it with the water profile and see if I can tell the difference between Kolsch batches of past.
Definitely.
That would be the only way to actually tell. But I mean, we have people who have entered Kolsch Cup, not the winners. I have to actually ask them if they did water profile. Brian and George, I need to ask them if those guys used water profiles on theirs, because maybe there would be something to it. If they're like, oh yeah, of course we did. Who doesn't brew with a water profile?
Yeah, you crazy.
Yeah, how could you do that? You're not really brewing. But to wrap up the question, let me ask you, Todd, what would be a way for people who want to find the water profile? Are you literally just typing City of Cologne water, or how, like if someone wanted to brew, that's it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, a water profile for whatever style, and it's like anything else on Google, you'll get 87 different answers.
Oh.
Well, Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Brewer's Friend had some water profiles in
I think
there.
it
Oh,
is. Yeah,
good point. No, they do. You're right. Our friends at Brewer's Friend, that is a very thorough database of information, not just for recipe building, but for the whole kit and caboodle. Definitely. You know what? We need to reactivate or see if they want to do something with this on a promo code. Because last time, it's been a long time rather since we've had that, where we offered people discount at brewersfriend.com for membership. So I need to get with Lorena or maybe Keith.
I know that they do. I know you can obviously do a water profile on there. I don't know if they recommend a water profile. That's what I'm not sure about.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Where you choose a style and it populates it for you.
Right.
Okay. I wonder if Grainfather, one of the things I've enjoyed about their database too is I put in a style and it tells us the recommended, like, oh, you're doing the stout, you should definitely do this mash out, or it had us do a mash out on the alt beer, and where it just found, I guess maybe it's from BJCP. I don't know their database where they did it, but whatever database their recipes are in determined that style would benefit from it. And so it did it. It didn't give us like I would have had to go in and change it to take it out. It was a default. And so my dad and I see that and we're like, oh, whatever. The machine knows better than I do. You know, that's great. And I wonder if they would do that with water if I dug in deep enough too. But like Todd said, Brewer's Friend, it'd be interesting to see on their website. And Brewer's Friend is extremely thorough. We highly recommend them. They are friends of the show because we love their product. It wasn't the other way around. Although they're lovely people too. I'm sure we would have liked them even if their product was terrible. But to wrap up, Fred's.
Well, yeah, I knew them long before they made Brewer's Friend.
You literally did. I didn't know Keith until after. Keith actually lived a couple doors down from you.
That's wild.
Lorena is wonderful. She was at my house with her husband not too long ago. So
yeah, that's right. Keith actually was walking the dogs in y'all's like alley, but he still had a homebrew talk at the time.
Yes,
he was running Homebrew Talk, but that was before, all the other things that he did, including Brewer's Friend. So, Todd, you go way back. You look at him, hipster. I knew him before he was cool. I knew them before they blew up. Anyways, wrapping up Fred's question, I would love feedback, especially in the comments below. where y'all get your water profile information from. Is it from the brewing software you use? Do you just Google a municipality's water profile? How do you get your info? We'd love to have that to be able to tell people in the future the most effective way of getting accurate water profiles. And then, do you do a water profile in every batch, or do you not? Because c'est la vie, it just doesn't matter. What is life anyways? Because I'm just lazy. And so I could not care less about the RO, though I will say is worth it. My San Marcos water, I don't think it tastes bad, but it's high on chlorine, and so the brewing with my tap water would not end well. We used to do batches with my dad's well water without ever testing it, and thank God it worked out good. But now we just do RO. Just be safe and do RO. And if you don't have an RO thing at home, you can get RO from those water stations really cheap. I think 5 gallons at the high end is maybe $3 in a 5-gallon carboy. It's very cheap and it's worth it.
I could have sworn that we had an article on water profiles made by.
We published something from Lorena.
But yeah, I can't ever find anything on this Homebrew Happy Hour site the way it's organized.
Is the website the plastic bags of websites? Is it?
Yeah. Maybe this is it. Intro to reverse osmosis.
That's the water. Yes, that is the water article.
But it doesn't say anything in the title about water profile.
Well, I don't know.
Post office is here, guys. So
okay. Well, James, thank you so much, my friend.
You bet,
Todd.
Yep.
Todd,
we just don't have anybody up front. So
no, dude.
No,
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
you bet.
It does have water profile stuff. We should probably change the title to say "Intro to Reverse Osmosis and Water Profile."
Okay. So it does have
like
water.
That.
Okay.
Then people could find, because I couldn't find it in the search.
Okay, I can do that. Oh no, I'm about to sneeze, but I can't.
I'm going to write that down and ask you next week on the show if you did it.
Hold on, I'm still sneezing. Okay, yeah, hold me accountable.
Josh, change title.
Okay.
By next show. All right, I got it.
Thank you, boss. I appreciate you.
Anybody out there want to bet $5 who doesn't change the title by the next show?
I hate you. That's all we have for this week's show. Fred, thank you for sending that in. And again, final reminder, when you call 325-305-6107 and you leave us a voicemail and then I play it on a future episode, you get yourself a $25 gift card to kegconnection.com. All other ways of submitting questions get you a $15 gift card, which is pretty stinking good. Todd, thank God for James working. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'm not going to see you next week except Monday evening because you're leaving.
Oh, yeah. We'll see you Monday. Well, you're coming up Monday evening. I thought
I'm coming up Monday evening. You're going to
be here during the day Monday. Okay.
No, Monday.
Change my schedule a little bit then. Okay. My wife seemed to think you were coming up. You were going to be here all day Monday.
Oh, no, I've already talked to her. Yeah.
I know you talked to her. She probably didn't understand because she said you were going to be here. Okay.
I'm going to get up there Monday late afternoon. Early evening.
So you're going to have dinner with us?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to show up. I get it. You're going to show up in time to have dinner, but not in time to work.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood.
Perfect.
Thank you for your time. I'll see you then.
Thank you.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, go to homebrewhappyhour.com and click on that submit a question link at the top of the page or call it in. Get yourself a $25 gift card to 325-305-6107. Thank you to our show sponsors like Muntons Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already brewing with Muntons, give them a try by joining our recipe receiving tier of our Trump Club. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of Imperial yeast along with premium recipes from us when you join the Trub Club. Go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. On behalf of Todd Burns, James Carlson, and the Pearl Media Network, I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.